And coming to the inspirational quote, no matter how many mistakes you make or how slow you progress, you are still way ahead of everyone who isn't trying. Right? You are far better than who are at the same place. We are going ahead, whether it is slow or fast, right? Still, we are better than the people who are not trying. So he's uh, a personality development author, Tony Robbins. He has written good books actually. And today, Anil Kumble's birthday. I think all people know him. He is a senior Indian cricketer. He is cricketer, coach, and commentator. A right-arm leg spin bowler, he took 619 wickets in Test cricket and remains the third highest wicket taker of all time. In 1999, while playing against Pakistan, Kumble dismissed all 10 batsmen in a Test match innings. And in February 2015, he became the fourth Indian cricketer to be inducted into ICC Hall of Fame. And he says, challenges are a part of every successful journey. Embrace them, accept them, and be committed to work on them. It is how to deal with them is what will set you apart. And he says, I always believed I was the captain of my own bowling. If you are constantly looking behind for advice, then something is wrong. To be successful, take charge of your own actions. Be your own captain. Okay, such is the inspiring personality. And so we'll have 27th lecture today. And quickly, we'll rush through the last class things. And the last class, we have introduced the need for A standard cycles. And we have classified the A standard cycles and into power cycles and refrigeration cycles. And in the power cycles, we have classification of gas cycles and vapor cycles. In the gas cycles, we have many cycles we have listed about, like Otto cycle, diesel cycle, Brayton cycle, Stirling cycle, Ericsson cycle, Atkinson cycle, Lennard cycle, like that. These are various gas cycles. So in the power generation, we have gas cycles, and then vapor cycles, which we have already discussed, that is the Rankine cycle. In refrigeration cycle, we have air cycle refrigeration and vapor cycles. In vapor cycles, again, we have vapor compression refrigeration system, vapor absorption refrigeration system. Okay, these things we will discuss in R&AC, but vapor compression refrigeration cycle already have discussed in DME and also in thermodynamics. And so out of this gas cycles, and why we assume these air standard cycles, because there are a lot of problems in practical cycles which we cannot deal with in the early stages. Later, using CFD and all high advanced technology, CFD computational technologies, we can analyze them. But for the simple theoretical things, we are happy with the approximate solutions. And so we make some assumptions. So what makes it complicated is the friction and turbulence, which are reason for internal irreversibilities. And also composition changes, because there is a combustion takes place inside that, and there will be heat losses, right? So all these things we have to consider when you consider practical cycles, but we take some air standard cycle assumptions, some idealization we'll make. So what are the assumptions for air standard cycles we have discussed? Working fluid is air. And also air is taken as perfect gas, for which Cp, Cv, R, and molecular weight all are constants. And we assume that there is no chemical reaction. And we assume that the composition of air doesn't change, right? So that's why that is the combustion takes place outside, not inside the air. Okay, so its composition, it recirculates. It is a closed cycle. That's what we say external combustion type. Okay, so where combustion takes place somewhere else, but only heat is exchanged. Okay, only heat exchange takes place, and from high temperature reservoir. So this is a closed cycle, thermodynamic cycle. But in reality, they are open cycles. We know that air is taken in and exhaust gases go out. That is open cycle. And where that air is not recirculated, a new fresh air is taken in. Okay. So we discussed about the difference between internal combustion and external combustion. So here burning takes place inside the fluid, burning takes place outside, only energy exchange, heat exchange takes place. And here composition does not change for the working fluid, here composition changes. That's why it is open cycle, it is closed cycle. And so this is internal combustion engine, this is external combustion engine. And this does not follow any thermodynamic cycle, but it follows a mechanical cycle like suction, compression, combustion, exhaust, like that. But here it is a pure thermodynamic cycle where again the cycle gets closed. So we assume, actually practical cycles are internal combustion, but we assume they are external combustion, and we close the cycle and do the analysis. And other assumptions like heat transfer to the surroundings is zero, no friction and turbulence, means we assume all the processes to be internally reversible and quasi-static. And also we assume that change in kinetic energy and potential energy is negligible in all the processes. So we discuss about the Carnot cycle, where I have two reversible isothermals and two reversible isentropics, and efficiency we know. And if you see here, this is QL and this is QH. We know that this is 1 minus QL by QH is the efficiency, and QL is the area under this line. So the this width is TL, S1 minus S2, and the height is TL. So the rectangle of this is TL into S1 minus S2. And if you want to find out QH, area under this line, so TH into S4 minus S3. And we know that S1 minus S2 is S4 minus S3 because it is a rectangle. These two go off. So 1 minus TL by TH is the reversible cycle efficiency or Carnot efficiency. Okay. So this is the way we have derived for Carnot efficiency. So I told we can do in terms of pressure ratio, velocity ratio, volume ratio, and temperature ratio, as we have done in the previous chapter. Okay, coming to the reciprocating engines like petrol engines and diesel engines. So we know different efficiencies, and the piston goes from top dead center to bottom dead center. When it is top dead center, the volume here inside the cylinder or the working substance occupies clearance volume, right? And when it goes to the bottom dead center, it sweeps a volume of this much, which is called as stroke volume or swept volume. And the total cylinder volume is stroke volume plus clearance volume. Okay, this is the way the volumes are defined. And if you take the cycle, so in the suction, it goes constant with constant pressure. It sucks the air till it reaches to the end, bottom dead center. And both valves are closed. It is compressed, right? And it goes to 2. And then the mixture is taken inside, air fuel mixture. And that is given spark there. And suddenly there will be combustion. So constant volume, pressure rise and temperature rise. And then there will be expansion when it is going back to the bottom dead center. And here I suddenly open the exhaust valve and the heat will be released, the gases are released. And it comes down here to the point. And then there will be exhaust stroke. So this is exhaust stroke: suction, compression, combustion, expansion, release, and exhaust. Okay, these are the things happen. And then we have derived the expression eta equal to 1 minus QL by QH. QL is during release. So this is constant volume. So work done is 0. So heat transfer is equal to change in internal energy, which is CV into T4 minus T1. Here also in the same way, because it is constant volume, heat addition, and there will be no work done, and heat transfer is equal to change in internal energy, that is CV into T3 minus T2. CV goes off, T4 by T1, T4 minus T1 by T3 minus T2. We define some parameters here. So V1 by V2, right? This is compression ratio because it goes during compression from V1 to V2. V1 by V2 is R. So T2 by T1 is RK power gamma minus 1. RK is compression ratio. And so T3 by T1, and we define another pressure ratio. Pressure ratio is P3 by P2, right? So from here to here, it is constant volume. The rise in pressure takes place, okay? So P3 by P2 is the pressure ratio, the pressure developed during combustion, okay? So T3 by T1 is T3 by T2 into T2 by T1. T3 by T2 is RP, T2 by T1 is RK to the power of gamma minus 1. And T4 by T1 is T4 by T3 into T3 by T1. And T4 by T3, this is again RK power gamma minus 1 only, because compression ratio and expansion ratio are same. And so substituting them, I get 1 minus RP minus 1 by RP into RK power gamma minus 1 minus RK power gamma minus 1. Taking RK power gamma minus 1 common, RP minus 1 goes off. Okay, this is the way we get the Otto cycle efficiency. And we have seen that eta is function of compression ratio and gamma. As RK increase, efficiency increase. As gamma increase, efficiency increase. So we have drawn the curves like this, and it starts from 1 and goes on increasing. And as gamma increase also, it efficiency increase. and gamma is 1.2 for ethane, gamma is equal to 1.3 for carbon dioxide, gamma equal to 1.4 for air, and if you take helium, gamma equal to 1.66. For monoatomic gases, gamma equal to 1.66. And so here, as compression ratio increase, there will be increase in the efficiency, but there is a limitation. I cannot increase the compression ratio to any extent I want. So there is what is called as auto ignition temperature, right? So if you increase the temperature at which it ignites by itself is called the auto ignition. And after the compression, actually, it is not at auto ignition temperature. Only when you give the spark, then only there will be burning takes place and flame travels from this end to this end. Okay, this is normal combustion that takes place. But if your compression ratio is very high, and then the auto ignition temperature may reach before it reaches the completes the compression, and there may be burning takes place, which actually it has to go forward the piston, but it will push back, and there will be a hit on the piston. Or even if otherwise, the flame front during expansion, the flame front here it goes like this. But if the temperatures are very high, there will be auto ignition takes place on the other end of the piston or cylinder, and here also there will be flame front, and these flames they coalesce with each other, and there will be severe vibration, and which is called as detonation or knocking. So I have a limitation, okay, from 6 to 12 of compression ratios are possible. If I want to have more than 12 pressure ratio, I cannot have both fuel and air mixture that is that goes into the cylinder during suction. So for that purpose, we go to what is called as diesel cycle. And if I want to have still higher compression ratios, to some extent, I can have by mixing the petrol with some tetraethyl lead, which is called as, sorry, TEL. It is not TED, it is TEL. Okay, you can correct it. It is tetraethyl lead, TEL, to the petrol, which increases the auto ignition temperature, and because of that I can have high compression ratios and higher efficiency. But again, because this lead which gets burnt into lead oxide and comes into the atmosphere through exhaust gases, it harms the environment and humans, and it creates pollution and creates illness in the people, and that's why government has restricted, right? The whole world, actually, they told you cannot use the leaded petrol. We have to use what is called as unleaded petrol. Okay, there is this is the efficiency. We define what is called as mean effective pressure, right? For the same distance of the piston, to have the same work, an equivalent same pressure, if works from the beginning to end, this much of work, same work it has to produce. And that work is called as the mean effective pressure, which is because area is the W net by V1 minus V2 gives me the height of the rectangle, which is the mean effective pressure. Okay, so that is the way we define mean effective pressure. And I told how to solve a problem of Otto cycle. You will be given P1 and T1, and you will be given the compression ratio. So you can find out V2 by V1. So V2 is obtained. So volume ratio is known. So you can find out pressure ratio and temperature ratio from isentropic relations. And then you will be given either the maximum pressure or temperature, or you will be given the heat addition. If heat addition is given, constant volume heat addition, Cv into T3 minus T2 is QH. I can find out T3. If T3 is given, you can find out QH. In that way, I can find out P3, T3, and V3. And when coming here, so I know that V4 equal to V1. Already V4 is known, and so V3 by V4 known. You can find out T3 by T4 and P3 by P4 using the isentropic ratios again. In that way, I can find out all the pressures and temperatures and specific volumes. Once I know all of them, I can find out what is the heat lost, what is the heat gain, and what is the work done, and efficiency. All these things I can find out. This is the way I can tackle a problem. And then, as I told, if you want to have high compression ratios further up so that I can increase the efficiency, we have to go for what is called diesel cycle, where only air gets into the cylinder during suction. It gets compressed. After compression, when the temperatures and the pressures are high, we inject the fuel at still higher pressure, so that there will be combustion takes place. That is called as CI engine, compression ignition. Previously, Otto cycle or petrol engine is SI engine. So in Otto cycle, we will have carburetor and spark plug. In diesel engine, we will have injector and the fuel pump. Okay, so this is about diesel engine. And coming to the diesel engine, again, there will be suction stroke and then compression stroke. And here after the compression, we start injecting the fuel up to certain time. Okay, so combustion takes place from 2 to 3. And because during expansion, there should be pressure drop, but during combustion, there will be pressure rise, and both of them compensate together, and there will be a constant pressure combustion takes place. And till the point of cutoff, where I cut off the fuel supply, and then there will be expansion, and there is release, exhaust valve opening and release. So this is the way a diesel cycle operates, and there is exhaust. And so if you draw the diesel cycle on a TS diagram, we get like this. So this is constant volume, and this is constant pressure, combustion, and this is expansion, and this is the heat release. Okay, so this is the way it takes place. If it is Otto cycle, I will have constant volume combustion. So this is the way. So you can see that the area of the cycle increase for the Otto cycle. Okay, so because this is of higher slope. Okay, that's what we have discussed in the last class. And today's class we will continue, and we derive the expression for diesel efficiency and diesel cycle efficiency. So if you draw a diesel cycle, so this is PV power gamma. I am not drawing the suction and exhaust strokes because this is a horizontal line. Okay, even if you draw, it's no problem. So, and 2 to 3 is the combustion, QH. And this is expansion stroke, PV power gamma equal to constant. This is expansion. This is compression. And 2 to 4 to 1, it is the release. So QL. Okay. So this is the cycle. And so Q, if we want QL and QH, and QH is equal to, because this is constant pressure heat addition, and this is Cp into T3 minus T3. And QL, because it is constant volume heat rejection, Cv into T4 minus T1. So efficiency is equal to 1 minus QL by QH. So this is equal to 1 minus, and Cp into T3 minus T2 by Cv into T4 minus T1. Okay, so Cp by Cv anyhow gamma, and I will write this as 1 minus T1 into T3 by T1 minus T2 by T1 by gamma T1 into T4 by T1 minus 1. Okay, this T1 goes off. So I want T3 by T1, T2 by T1, T4 by T1, all those things in terms of the parameters. Okay, so parameters V1 by V2 is equal to compression ratio. So that's why T2 by T1 is equal to V1 by V2 to the power of gamma minus 1. So RK power gamma minus 1. And so there is another, we define what is called as cutoff ratio, because it is cut off at 3. So V3 by V2 is equal to RC. This is called as cutoff ratio. And 3 to 4, it is expansion. We write it as R expansion ratio, V4 by V3. So this is cutoff. This is expansion. So like that, we define 3 ratios: compression ratio, that is V1 by V2, and then cutoff, so V3 by V2, then expansion, so V4 by V3, like that. So if you see here, the total compression ratio is equal to the product of cutoff ratio and expansion ratio, because the whole volume ratio is equal to the partial volume ratio, another partial volume ratio. Rk is equal to Rc into Rg. Okay, and now I want to express them in terms of the temperature ratios. So if you take T2 by T1, it is already Rk power gamma minus 1. If I want T3 by T1 is equal to T3 by T2 into T2 by T1. So T3 by T2, T3 by T2 is V3 by V2. V3 by V2 is Rc, and T2 by T1 is Rk power gamma minus 1. So I write like this. And I want T4 by T1. So T4 by T1 is equal to T4 by T3 into T3 by T1. And T4 by T3 is V3 by V4 to the power of gamma minus 1. So V3 by V4 is 1 by Re. 1 by Re to the power of gamma minus 1. And T3 by T1 already is there, Rc, Rk power gamma minus 1. Okay, and Re is equal to Rk by Rc. So I substitute that. So this is equal to Rc by Rk to the power of gamma minus 1, Rc, Rk power gamma minus 1. So you can see that Rk power gamma minus 1, Rk power gamma minus 1 goes off, and Rc power gamma minus 1 into Rc is equal to Rc power gamma. Okay, so all these things I get, I substitute there. So eta is equal to 1 minus T3 by T1 is Rc, Rk power gamma minus 1, minus T2 by T1 is Rk power gamma minus 1 by gamma. T4 by T1 is Rc power gamma, and minus 1. Like this we get.
Sir, gamma should be numerator.
Gamma in the denominator only. Cp in the numerator, Cv. Okay. Gamma is in the. No, I written wrong actually. Everything is wrong. I have done it in reverse. Okay. Actually, QL by QH, 1 minus QL by QH, I have written QH by QL. Okay. It becomes reverse. Just sorry. So it will become 1 minus gamma into Rc power gamma minus 1 by Rc Rk power gamma minus 1 minus Rk power gamma minus 1. Actually, this is inversed. Okay, I have written QL by QH here, but when I am writing QH, I have given in the numerator and QL in the denominator.
Sir,
is it okay?
Gamma should be in denominator.
Gamma should be in the denominator. Okay, this is the one it happens. So this eta is equal to 1 minus Rc power gamma minus 1 by gamma Rk power gamma minus 1 if I take common into Rc minus 1. Okay, this is the efficiency. Eta is equal to 1 minus Rc power gamma minus 1 by gamma Rk power gamma minus 1 into Rc minus 1. Okay, this is the efficiency of diesel cycle. I will write again. So this is the efficiency of the diesel cycle. And again, here also you can find out the mean effective pressure. Mean effective pressure is equal to W net by V1 minus V2. And W net is equal to QH minus QL. Okay, it is only formula. If somebody asks you to derive, you have to derive it. Otherwise, you don't need to remember the formula. Only you have to do is you just go on point to point and find out pressure, volume, and temperature, and find out QH, QL, and net, W net, and like this. So just for example, if you are given a problem, Okay, you will be given P1 and T1. So you can find out V1. Okay. And to get 2, I know the process. So you'll be given compression ratio that is equal to V2 by V1, which gives me V2. Okay, this is given again. Okay, so V2 I got. So in T2 by T1 is equal to Rk to the power of gamma minus 1, and P2 by P1 is equal to Rk to the power of gamma. So I can find out T2 and T2. So all the values at T2 I got. So for getting 3, again, you may be given cutoff ratio. If cutoff ratio is given, I can get which is called as V3 by V2. So from V2, I can get V3. And so once you get V3, then you can get V3 by T3 is equal to V2 by T2. Because it is a constant pressure relation. So I can get T3 from here. And anyhow, P2 equal to P3. So I know all the values. Once I know, I can find out QH. QH is equal to Cp into T3 minus T2. And then I have to get the point 4. Okay. So anyhow, V1 equal to V4, I know it. Right. And so I know V3 and V4. V3 already calculated, V4 is known. So from 3 to 4, I can get T3 by T4 is equal to V4 by V3 to the power of gamma minus 1. So this gives me T4. So I can get, I got all the temperatures, and so QL is equal to CV into T4 minus T1. So I got QH QL, so W net is equal to QH minus QL. And efficiency is equal to 1 minus QL by QH, and mean effective pressure is equal to W net by V1 minus V2. So in this way, I can finish the problem. Any questions? And data may be given in different ways sometimes. Here, instead of compression ratio, right, I may be given what is the maximum pressure after the compression. Okay, so P2 may be given. And from that, I have to find out P2 by P1 is equal to, if you know, you can find out T2 by T1 and V2 by V1 again from the isentropic ratios. Okay, so like that. So here also QH may be given to you instead of cutoff ratio. So if QH is given, first you calculate T3, and then this ratio T3 by T2 will give me pressure ratio and volume ratio. So that is the way I have to go about based on the data of the problem. Okay, any doubts? Just go by point, go to point by point, get all P1, V1, T1, P2, V2, T2, P3, V3, T3, like that. So first you understand that, how to get them, and then you can get all QH, QL, W net, and efficiency, mean effective pressure. Is that okay? Okay. Okay, then actually, if you see the practical cycles, mainly for diesel cycle, diesel engine. So normally what we do is, we don't inject the fuel after the compression, because there will be what is called as injection delay. Okay, so if I start injecting after the compression, because it takes some time, and the combustion starts late, and I lose the power stroke. So because of that, we start injecting the fuel before compression is completed, right? But not too much early, because again the combustion may take place and it may obstruct the piston motion. Okay, so there will be a calculated amount of early I do it. So what happens is, So what happens is, so before I start injecting fuel here itself, so that the combustion takes place exactly just like Otto cycle, it starts here. Okay, so this is 1 and this is 2. So some part there will be constant volume combustion, and so it is injected further up to some point cut off. So this is constant pressure combustion. There will be both constant volume combustion and constant pressure combustion, and the remaining thing will be same. Okay, this is 3 I will put, and 4 I will put here, 5. So this is QH1 and this is QH2 and this is QL. Okay, so this is the way. This is called as, there are different names for this. This is called as dual cycle, and sometimes people call it as limited pressure cycle. And some more people call it as mixed cycle. Okay, so all of them mean same. And so normally all high-speed diesel engines, they follow dual cycle. Okay, so this is the practical cycle. And so we have constant pressure combustion partially and constant volume combustion, both of them partially. So there will be heat addition in the constant volume and then in constant pressure. The remaining things same. We will have suction stroke, compression stroke, and constant volume combustion, constant pressure combustion, then expansion, and then release, and then exhaust, like this. Okay, this is the way it takes place. And so we will have QH. Suppose if you take QH, this is equal to, first here, constant volume combustion, I will have CV into T3 minus T2 plus Cp into T4 minus T3. And QL will be again constant volume release. So Cv into T5 minus T1. So this is 5. So now again eta equal to 1 minus 2L by 2H. So that is 1 minus Cv into T5 minus T1 by Cv into T3 minus T2 plus Cp into T4 minus T3, like this. So again, we do the same exercise as we have done. So CV here gets cancelled, and here I will put gamma by dividing CV and both numerator and denominator. And again, I can divide both numerator and denominator by T1. So 1 minus T5 by T1 minus 1 by T3 by T1 minus T2 by T1 plus gamma into T4 by T1 minus T3 by T1. Okay, so this is the way. And same way we'll do T2 by T1. We know that this is Rk power gamma minus 1, where Rk is V1 by V2. Okay. And again P3 by P2, this is equal to T3 by T2 is equal to R2. Okay, so T3 by T1 is equal to T3 by T2 into T2 by T1 so T3 by T2 is Rp and T2 by T1 is Rk power gamma minus 1. Now taking T4 by T1, T4 by T1 is T4 by T3 into T3 by T1. And what is T4 by T3? V4 by V3 is cutoff ratio, right? So this is also equal to T4 by T3. So T4 by T3 is cutoff ratio, so RC, and T3 by T1 is already there, Rp into Rk power gamma minus 1. Then coming to T5 by T1, T5 by T1 is T5 by T4 into T4 by T1, and T5 by T4 is V4 by V5 to the power of gamma minus 1, which is again this is expansion ratio, right? So expansion ratio is again we can write like this, okay? So into T4 by T1 is Rc, Rt, Rk power gamma minus 1. So this is equal to, and Re is equal to Rc by Rk. So Re is equal to Rc by Rk. So this is Rc power gamma minus 1, just like previous problem, Rk power gamma minus 1 into Rc, Rt, Rk power gamma minus 1. So Rk power gamma minus 1, Rk power gamma minus 1 goes off, and this is equal to Rp into Rc power gamma. Okay, this is the way I can find out all, and now I have to substitute. Okay, just so if you substitute, you will get the final relation. So which is actually 1 minus T5 by T1 minus 1 by T3 by T1 minus T2 by T1 minus T4 by T1 minus T3 by T1. So substituting the previous space, all those things, and T5 by T1 is Rp, Rc power gamma minus 1 by T3 by T1 is Rt, Rk power gamma minus 1 plus minus Rk power gamma minus 1 minus T4 by T1 is, okay, gamma is there here, gamma Rc, Rt, Rk power gamma minus 1 minus Rt, Rk power gamma minus 1. Okay, this is the way we get. So this is equal to 1 minus, if you see, okay, 1 minus Rp, Rc power gamma minus 1 by, in the denominator, Rk power gamma minus 1 I can take common, Rk power gamma minus 1 into, so here what is left, Rp and minus 1. Minus, here if I take gamma Rp into, okay, gamma, Rp also I can take common, so it is Rc minus 1. Okay, so this is the way I get. So we can check actually whether this is right or not. So if I take Rp equal to 1, yes.
Rk power gamma minus 1 is for whole denominator.
Rk power gamma, yeah, that is right. Like this. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think it's okay. So if Rp equal to 1, so Rp equal to 1 means, so this constant volume is not there. Okay, so that is P2 equal to P3. So then what happens? It becomes a diesel cycle. It should become a diesel cycle. So eta equal to 1 minus Rc power gamma minus 1 by this Rp minus 1 will become 0, and we will get gamma Rk power gamma minus 1 into Rc minus 1. Okay, this becomes like this. So which is a diesel cycle. In the same way, if I take Rc equal to 1, then it becomes Otto cycle. So if RC equal to 1, it becomes 1 minus RP minus 1 by RK power gamma minus 1 into RP minus 1 minus, I think that's all, because the next term becomes 0. So RP minus 1 goes off. It will become 1 minus 1 by RK power gamma minus 1, which is Otto cycle. So like this, we can check whether our expression is right or not. Okay. So this is dual cycle. So here also we can solve the problem in the same way. So if I have one, two, three, 4, 5, P equal gamma equal to constant, B equal to constant, and here V equal to constant, V equal to constant, P equal gamma equal to constant. And actually we can draw the TS diagram also. This is PV diagram. So TS diagram, 1, 2. So there will be constant volume combustion, more volume slope, and somewhere here it stops, and constant pressure combustion, and then isentropic expansion, and it goes like this. 3, 4, 5, and this is QH1, and this is QH2. This is V equal to constant. This is P equal to constant. Here V equal to constant. Okay. So this is QH1. This is QH2. So like this, we will have the cycle in on TS diagram and PV diagram. So again, if you are given a problem, you will be given P1 T1 gives V1, and for getting T2, you will be given RK. So you will get V2 and then T2 T2, and to get 3, you will be given either the maximum pressure or QH, P3 or QH or T3, whatever it is. One of them will be given to you. So if T3 is given, you can find out T3 by T2 and V3 by V2, and QH also is equal to CV into T3 minus T2, you can find out. And for this you will be given. And for 0.4, you will be given either cutoff or you may be given QH2. So one of them will be given to you. So using that, I can find out 0.4. And for 5, I need not know anything, because V1 equal to V5. And because all properties at 4 are known, I can find out points, all values at 5. In that way, I can find out. Then again, just you can find out QH1, QH2, QL, and W net is equal to QH1 plus QH2 minus QL, and efficiency is equal to 1 minus QL by QH1 plus QH2, and PM is equal to W net by V1 minus V2. So just like that, we go by sequence, and because to get every point, the next point, I have to have some data. Okay, using that, I have to continue. Like that, I can solve the GL cycle relations or problem. Is that okay? Heat rejection is at constant volume for all the cycles, for Otto cycle, diesel cycle, and dual cycle also. Now you can see when I will compare, right, these 3 cycles. Comparison of Otto, diesel, and dual cycles, right, to which have more efficiency. And as I told, it depends on the compression ratio sometimes. So if only compression ratio, we know that Otto cycle is more efficient compared to diesel cycle. But sometimes if the maximum pressure or temperature is is the limit, then the reverse happens. We will see how it happens anyhow. So if I fix compression ratio, okay, that is for the same compression ratio. So if I draw the PV diagram, compression ratio fixed means, okay, the volumes are fixed here. This is fixed. And 1 to 2 is like this. And so here, if it is constant volume combustion, it goes like this. And if it is constant pressure combustion, it goes like this. If partially constant volume, constant pressure, it goes like this. And okay, I will number them in some way. Dual cycle, I will put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is dual fuel, dual cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Dual cycle. And if I number this as 6, okay, 1, 2, 6, 5, 1, Otto cycle. And if I name this as some 7, 1, 2, 7, 5, 1, this is diesel cycle. Okay, so this is the way we get. And you can see by seeing this, which gives me more work. Okay, so Otto cycle will have more area, diesel cycle will have somewhat less area, and dual cycle will have medium, and diesel cycle will have less area. And if you see TS diagram, so whatever asked, right, that is heat rejection, is it same? Okay, so suppose I do it like this. Compression ratio is fixed, 1, 2. Okay, so this can be constant volume. So this is Otto cycle, 1, 2, 6, 1. And if it is diesel cycle, it will be 1, 2, 7, 1. And if it is dual cycle, up to constant volume, this is V equal to constant. So this is 3, this is 4, this is P equal to constant, this is P equal to constant, this is V equal to constant, this is V equal to constant, this is PV power gamma equal to constant, this is PV power gamma equal to constant. Okay, this is 5. Okay. So you can see these are the cycles. And so if you see area under 1.5, 1.5 is same. The area under 1.5 is QL. So QH is different. QL is same for all the cycles. QH is different. So QH for Otto cycle is the maximum because it is below 2.6. Okay, area under 2.6 Otto cycle, QH. QH is equal to area under 2.6. And this is area under 2.7 diesel cycle. And the area under 2, 3, 4, that is dual cycle. Right? So this shows that obviously, yeah, efficiency Otto cycle is greater than efficiency dual cycle. This is greater than efficiency diesel cycle. Okay, is this okay? For this particular case where compression ratio is taken to be same, I can draw the PV diagram and TS diagram, and I can show that the area of the cycle is in this order. Okay. So the other case we'll consider. So where the second case, same maximum pressure and temperature. Maximum pressure and temperature are same. Okay, so if this is the case, that is minimum pressure is here, maximum pressure is somewhere here, suppose. And so here, if this is 1, okay, if this is 1, the compression takes place like this. And if it is diesel, it becomes like this. But Otto cycle, I cannot have this complete combustion, because then it pressure goes still up. So I have to stop somewhere here. So this is 6 and this is 7, right? And so dual cycle in between it, these two. It becomes like this. Okay, so you can see Otto cycle is 1, 6, 4, 5, 1, and dual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and diesel 1, 7, 4, 5, 1. That is diesel cycle. I think you can understand that. So the maximum pressure, this is fixed, right? So in this way we will get. So if I take, again, if you see the whole areas, diesel cycle will have the maximum area, dual cycle in between, and Otto cycle will have the minimum area. Okay. So if I draw them on TS diagram, and because the diesel cycle can go for more yes. Okay. So diesel cycle goes up to here, dual cycle go up to here. So here this is 2 and this is 3. Okay, like this. So this Otto cycle will go only up to some pressure ratio. It cannot go further because the temperature is. And here it can go to high pressure and high temperature for the diesel cycle. And the dual cycle comes in between. And this is B equal to constant. Dual cycle P equal to constant. Okay. So you can see, compare both of them, and you can see that diesel cycle will have maximum than dual cycle, and dual cycle is more than Otto cycle. Okay, this is the. So that's why some people ask which cycle is more efficient. You cannot just say Otto cycle or diesel cycle. You have to ask under what conditions. So if it is for the same compression ratio, Otto cycle is more efficient. If it is for same maximum pressure and temperature, then diesel cycle is more efficient. But Otto cycle cannot go to that maximum pressure and temperature because of auto ignition. Okay, so that's why its pressure ratios are less. So you can see 1 to 6 only, the pressure ratio goes up. It cannot go further up because of auto ignition. Okay, so this is the way we have to compare the cycles. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Right. And so next class we'll go to the other cycles. There are many cycles are there, like a special cycle, Lanier cycle, where I have only 3 processes. And there are 2 more cycles which are equal efficient, which have equal efficiency as Carnot cycle. I named them once, Stirling cycle and Ericsson cycle. So Ericsson cycle, I talked about it. When you have infinite number of intercoolers and reheaters in a Brayton cycle, it approximates to Ericsson cycle, which has Carnot efficiency. Okay, so those things we will discuss in the next class. And you should be able to solve Otto cycle, diesel cycle, or dual cycle based on the things I told you. So you can go through either Sengel or go through Pekanag, right? So you can understand how to solve the problems. Okay, if everything is okay, we will go to the story. Okay, this is actually I have given the slides also, diesel cycle and the diesel cycle, these things, and derivations also are given here. And diesel cycle efficiency also increases with cutoff ratio and also compression ratio. So here, with respect to cutoff ratio, it is given like that. If RC equal to 1, it is equal to Otto cycle, right? If it is less than that, efficiency is less. And diesel cycle problem, how to solve it? I have given some example. This is the way you will get the data. As I told, in the first problem, you are given the data. P1, T1 is given, and compression ratio is given, and heat added is given. So in that way, you can find out all the other things. In the second problem, you are given again P1, T1, and you are given the maximum pressure, okay, not the cutoff ratio. So I told you how to do that, and heat supplied also QH is given, okay. So this is the way you have to go about diesel cycle problem. And dual cycle, so this also we have discussed, and the PV diagram and TS diagram, and the derivations, right, at compression ratio, expansion ratio, cutoff ratio, pressure ratio, like that. And you can get the expression for efficiency here. And comparison of Otto, diesel, and dual cycles also, it is drawn here. For the same compression ratio, I have this, and for the same maximum pressure and temperature, we have this. Okay, so this is the way we have discussed. And problem also you should be able to solve, as I told, with the instructions that I have given. And so we'll go to the story, a nice story. It is the story's name, Shipwrecked. So there is a voyaging ship, and it was wrecked during storm at sea, and only 2 of the men on it were able to swim to a small desert-like island, completely deserted island. Nobody is there. Only these 2 people are there in that island. The 2 survivors, not knowing what else to do, agreed that they had no other resource but just to pray God. Okay, we will pray God. There is nothing else we can do. However, to find out whose prayer was more powerful, they agreed to divide the territory between them. You pray on the other side, I pray on this side. We will see whose prayers will be answered by the God. And they stayed on opposite sides of the island. The first thing they prayed was for food. The next morning, the first man saw a fruit-bearing tree on his side of island, and he was able to eat its fruit. The other man's parcel of land completely remained barren. Okay, he didn't get anything. And after a week, the first man was lonely, and he decided to pray for a wife. And the next day, another ship was wrecked, and the only survivor was a woman who swam to his side of the land. And on the other side of the land, there was nothing. And soon, the first man prayed for a house, clothes, and more food. The next day, like magic, all of those were given to him. However, the second man still had nothing to himself. And finally, the first man prayed for a ship so that he and his wife could leave the island and stay happily in the cities. And in the morning, he found a ship docked at his side of the island. The first man boarded the ship with his wife and decided to leave the second man on the island. He considered the other man was unworthy to receive God's blessings, since none of his prayers had been answered. And as the ship was about to leave, the first man heard a voice from heaven booming, "Why are you leaving your companion on the island?" And he said, "My blessings are mine alone, since I was the one who prayed for them." The first man answered, "His prayers were all unanswered, and so he does not deserve anything." "You are mistaken," the voice rebuked him. "He had only one prayer which I answered. If not for that, you would not have received any of the blessings." This fellow surprised. Tell me, the first man asked the voice, what did he pray for that I should owe him anything? And he prayed that all your answers be answered. Okay, great. So he wanted the God to answer his friend's prayers. For all we know, our blessings are not the fruits of our prayers alone, but those of another praying for us. Okay, so that's what is the message I want to convey. Thank you very much. See you again on Monday, 11:30. Anything else you can ask?